Hello and welcome to the next in Joopla's regular video series, and today we're going to be talking about some of the risks when using AI within law. AI has huge benefits for many businesses and many industries, and law is certainly amongst those. In fact, the benefits for utilizing AI within law are potentially huge and are potentially game-changing. However, use of AI is not without its risks. So what we wanted to do today was to talk a little bit about the four main risks associated with using AI in law. And in the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can counter and how you can manage and how you can govern those risks. So the first main risk to discuss is data confidentiality. And in particular, the loss of control over your client data, some of which may well be confidential. So once you send data, information over to AI, the large language model, you've essentially lost control of it. You don't know exactly what's going to be done with it. Now, one of the key issues is that if you're utilizing a free AI tool on the desk, the information that you send in can and probably will be used to train the models in the future. So they will then own that data is no longer yours. Now that may be okay if you're just using an LLM on the side to check the weather over the next week or look for holiday destinations. That may well be fine. You may well be comfortable with it. But if you're uploading confidential contracts with client information, names, addresses, date of birth, passport numbers, etc., that can be a real issue. And data breaches are not uncommon. In 2023, for example, ChatGPT exposed user chats. So it's a real thing. And one of the key things is that this could potentially violate a solicitor's or a lawyer's duty of confidentiality, which is mandated under SRA Code of Conduct 6.1. So it's definitely something to look at. Secondly is regulatory vulnerability. So free AI tools chase the cheapest servers worldwide, which means that you can't control where that data goes within the world. Now, in some jurisdictions, that's maybe okay, but in others, such as the UK or the EU, for example, that is an issue because under GDPR, for example, Article 44 in the UK states that transfers to third parties demand safeguards. And you need to be able to prove where that data lives. Where has it gone? Has it gone outside the EU? Has it gone outside of the UK? If so, where? Fines can be real, can be up to 4% of global turnover. So definitely something to think about. The third main risk is around hallucinations. So AI always sounds smart. Whenever you ask it something, it always gives you a response, and it always sounds as if it knows what it's talking about in that response. But in actual fact, hallucinations which is a concept whereby AI makes things up, which seem logical to it, given the way that it's set up and structured, but it may not be true. AI by its very nature is a black box. You have an input and then you have an output. Now, how it creates the output is invisible to you as the user. You only see the input and the output. The mechanics are all hidden under the hood. Therefore, you don't know how results are calculated. So if you're relying on this, does this violate your duty of technical competence? And again, SRA paragraph 3.1, whereby you must deliver accurate, verified counsel. If it's a black box, can you do that? Fourthly, you need to think about bias, ethics, and auditability. So because of the black box concept that we highlighted before, we don't know whether the model is introducing bias within the model. So for example, Amazon's model, AI model in the past had favored men. and Series 1 had amplified gender and ratio stereotyping. You need to, again, this is real, although organizations are working to reduce that bias, it's something that you need to think about when you are looking and relying on the output from these LLMs. The next thing to talk about is more of an upcoming risk, which is the EU AI Act, which is going to be phased in from 2026. So as part of that, looking at internal risk classification, you need to maintain an internal register to classify all AI tools used and be prepared to treat any tool affecting a client's legal rights or access to justice as high risk. And then for some of the high risk systems, you have obligations to ensure compliance with certain requirements, risk assessments, and mandatory human oversight. So it's something to bear in mind when looking at the future. So although this may all sound doom and gloom, it's not. There are definitely steps that you as a law firm can take in order to help to reduce those risks. And what we're going to be doing in the next video is talking about some of those. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments below what you think about those risks. Have we missed any? And until then, I look forward to seeing you on that next video.